And now we've made our way on into the blue bedroom. So this would have been another one of William Gillette's guest bedrooms. You can see it's fairly spacious with more than enough room for 2 beds in here. So this would have been used by William Gillette's family and close friends as they would come to visit and stay with him. Most notably, Helen Hayes. So early on in her theater career, Helen Hayes was in a play called Dear Brutus, which she starred in with William Gillette. And he was sort of her mentor in the theater, helping to ease a lot of her anxieties about performing and working on that specific production. And he was extremely helpful to her as a mentor early on in her career. And of course, later on, Helen Hayes would go on to become the first lady of the American theater. So when she was a teenager, she and her mother did stay in this room. Also notable occupant of this room at one time was Joseph Hooker. Now the name probably doesn't ring a bell. That's because Joe Hooker was Gillette's cousin. He and his wife actually honeymooned inside the castle. And you'll hear a little bit more about Joe later on because he becomes instrumental when it comes to us telling you how the state of Connecticut acquired the castle and the rest of the property. So make sure you stay tuned for when we do talk about that. So we're going to move on down the hall and see what else we have before we get to William Gillette's bedroom. So this light fixture is the second of the 2 Tiffany lights in the house. You may remember one of them we saw hanging above the main entrance hall down on the ground level. So this would be the second light made by Tiffany and Company. And out of the 4 Tiffany items in the house, this one is the third one that we've seen so far. Now, aside from that, just beyond it is where I'm standing right now, and this is a very important position in the castle because this is where you have to stand in order to take a look at the trick bar. So standing right where I am and looking straight through the mirror over there, that gives you the angle on the bar, which you guys saw when we give you the talk on the lounge. And then we'll shift over and show you how the other mirror works. So when we showed you around the Great Hall, we talked about William Gillette's very clever system of mirrors. And when hopefully you saw that video of the lounge and the trick bar, you got a sense as far as how one mirror worked to show him the liquor cabinet. Now this is the other mirror that shows him what he needs to see. This shows him the main entrance hall. So standing outside of his bedroom, looking straight across the Great Hall through this mirror, William Gillette can see who's coming in from the main entrance hall. We think of it sort of like his caller ID. So he could see who was coming in and decide if he wanted to socialize. So if William Gillette didn't want to hang out with his friends, he could stay up in his room for a little while, let his servants deal with his friends down here. If he was feeling social, however, he would watch what they're doing and then plan out a grand dramatic entrance to welcome them to the castle. So that's what we have with this mirror over here. Well, folks, it's time for the grand finale. We've reached the end of the hallway, so that leaves one more room, the master bedroom. So let's go on in and check it out. Ta-da! Okay, so it's not that masterful when it comes to the size, but believe me, it's still pretty practical. Now, William Gillette was used to small spaces. He spent a lot of his time traveling when he was in the theater, so he would stay in hotel rooms and small apartments. Plus, he lived on houseboats a decent chunk of his life, so he was used to small quarters. So you could take a look and see that we have a very small space, but still very functional. So we have his bed over here. Now, if you look in the back corner above the bed, you see that we have that light fixture, but it has a light switch that's built with an extension. The idea there being that if William Gillette wanted to turn off the light and go to bed, he didn't actually have to stand up to get the light. He could just reach upward while he was still lying in bed and turn that light off. And then if you look on the wall, you see that we have a few boxes here. Now, if you look at either the box that's on the right or the box on the left, both of these function as light switches. So they're just modern switches. So you can hear the sound there for the toggle switch. And then in the center, this would be the call button. So we talked about the receiver and the call buttons when we showed you the kitchen. So this would have been William Gillette's call button. He presses that button, it sends a signal to the kitchen, lets the servants know that he would like some help and that he's in his bedroom. As far as some of the other things we have here, we have an extremely large bureau full of drawers. So there's plenty of space for his belongings. On top you see a lovely picture of William Gillette's wife, Helen. Plus we have this mirror Pretty nifty because it actually is adjustable. So there's dowels underneath that latch to that handle. So just by lifting up on that handle, the mirror can pull back. When we were downstairs in the study, I showed you the swing out trays underneath William Gillette's desk, and you can see that we have another set of them right here. So again, they're small balls for odds and ends, so here it'd probably be more like tie clips or cufflinks, things of that nature, so he can put them in the little bowls, and then everything folds in very nicely, so it's a good way to conserve space. Speaking of space, this isn't the entire bedroom because on the other side of this wall there is a fairly large walk-in closet for William Gillette as well, and of course you've got to have a nice master bathroom. So that's basically what we've got in here, and then next time we're going to take you up to some of the higher levels, show you what we've got on the 3rd floor and beyond, so make sure that you stay tuned with us.